therapists are just people. And all the flaws that people have, the desire not to go into the hellish realms, you might say, right? And to stay away from the worst stuff. It's in therapists too. I'm really glad that you're focusing on repressed memories. It's looked at as a protective mechanism, and yes, that's part of what it is, but it's also a way that keeps us from healing. It keeps us from knowing, it keeps us from having any idea about what our life is about and who we are. So it's really, really important. And then you have all these people who are actually trying to repress everything about repressed memories. They're trying to they keep trying to make people doubt what has happened to them. The worst victim is a victim who doesn't know she's been victimized. I mean, it's sometimes I just felt like I wasn't a human being. I was like a zombie or something. When I was 26, I started therapy, and when I told my therapist about various things that I wondered about, they sort of misled me or directed me away from thinking that they were memories. I had these very, very abusive sexual fantasies. They were abusive and compulsive. And now I think of them as sort of reenactments of my abuse. It took me decades to understand all this, and the only way I did understand it was from reading books. I was able to see that all of this stuff was memory. Yeah, and to start to sort of maybe become a detective and put the pieces together and say, okay, well, there's this stream of this, and there's this here, and there's this there, and then I could start to see that yes, I had been severely abused. I sort of what I call realized I realized that I had had an abusive childhood when I was 53, so that was 11 years ago. And at that point, I went to therapists. I went to two therapists who I rejected because when I tried to talk about these things, they uh, I, they they sort of were trying to lead me away from it too. And I realized then that that's what my first therapist had done. And but then I found a therapist who was willing to work with me. I've never had everything come together in my conscious mind and say, yes, this happened, this happened. I always have to kind of struggle to put the pieces together.